Hey guys, and welcome to Practice Makes Prose. This week we're talking about naming characters. So one of the hardest things in writing a novel is finding the right name for your main character. It's got to be a name that suits the character. It's got to be a name that suits the traits of that character. And it's got to be a name that you like. When I was younger, I'd just take names from people I knew and use them as the character. But as I got older, I started to look more in depth at the character name. It would take me ages to find a name that I actually liked and stick to that name. More often than not, I would go through 3-4 names before I finally decided on a name. And it wouldn't just be the first name. I had to find a surname that matched the first name, that suited that first name. Interesting fact for you, J.K. Rowling took the surname Potter from one of her childhood friends because she preferred it to her own surname. So tip number 1, be patient. The right name for your character might not come to you instantaneously. It might take 3 or 4 attempts to find a name that suits your character and fits in with the story. But don't worry, it will come to you. Also, something that was mentioned in Tracy's video is the fact that you need to find a name that fits in with the time period you're working with. There's no point writing in Elizabethan times if you're going to use the name Tory for your main character. It just won't be believable. So, tip number 2, if you're going to use a specific time period for your story, make sure you do a bit of background research to find the most appropriate name. For me, I quite like using names that are old-fashioned or unusual. The name Rupert isn't commonly used nowadays, which is why I used it for my novel. So that's some of my tips regarding finding a name for a main character. However, when you're trying to find a name for a character which isn't that important, as Ali refers to it, cameo characters, you can put a little less depth in. What I tend to do for those characters is go online and find a name generator and see what names pop up. It's still down to me which one I use, because some of the names that will pop up I won't like. But it gives me a wide selection of names I could use and gives me a lot of choice. However, this would only work if I'm writing a modern day story. If I was writing a novel in Elizabethan times, for example, I would simply Google Elizabethan names and look at the list of names that are given to me. So I hope you found these tips helpful, and feel free to try them out next time you're struggling to find a character name. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Check back on Wednesday for Ali's video and Friday for Tracy's video. And as always, don't forget, practice makes prose.